Welcome back to Royal Watch Daily, your reliable source for thoughtful, in-depth coverage and the hidden dimensions of stories involving Catherine, Princess of Wales, and the royal family. We're honored you're here as we unpack this profound moment with respect for history, duty, and the human cost behind every decision. Buckingham Palace rocked as King Charles uncovers Queen Elizabeth's confidential clause on Prince Harry's inheritance. In the hushed elegance of Windsor Castle's white drawing room on December 12, 2025, King Charles III stood not merely as a father, but as sovereign, and delivered a decision that redrew the boundaries of the monarchy. Flanked by the royal coat of arms and Union flags, he announced the immediate and complete administrative, financial, and emotional severance of Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, along with his children Archie and Lilibet Mountbatten Windsor, from all royal inheritance, titles of succession, legacy privileges, and future claims. There was no negotiation, no ambiguity. This was a deliberate, measured act to protect an institution that had been quietly bleeding for years. The era of half-in, half-out royal status ended in that single broadcast. The king chose the crown over personal ties, enacting what many now call a dynastic reset, with consequences that will echo for generations. The Queen's final hope and the King's difficult choice. The chain of events began not in grand halls, but within the fragile pages of a private, handwritten codicil to Queen Elizabeth II's will dated March 2022, just 6 months before her passing. Palace archivists uncovered the document only weeks before the king's address. This was no routine legal addendum. It represented the late queen's last, deeply personal attempt to mend a painful family rift. Insiders confirmed the clause offered Prince Harry a conditional inheritance of £20 million, generous yet firmly tied to ongoing connection with the United Kingdom and Commonwealth through physical presence and, crucially, active service. Initially viewed as a grandmother's loving olive branch, a quiet invitation home from beyond the grave, the provision, in the stark light of 2025 realities, instead exposed the core tension at the heart of the Sussexes' departure. It underscored an irreconcilable divide. The celebrity activism lifestyle chosen in California could not coexist with the disciplined, often thankless obligations the Queen had envisioned. Intense closed-door deliberations followed. At a somber family council, the king convened key figures: Prince William, whose future reign stood most directly at risk, Princess Anne, the unflinching voice of duty, and others whose presence signaled unity. After days of legal review and soul-searching, the decision crystallized. The Queen's heartfelt wish would be honored in spirit, preserving the crown she cherished, but not in letter. To safeguard the institution, Charles took the step his mother could not. He formally closed the door on his son. In words heavy with finality, the king later reflected, "My duty is not to repair what refuses repair, but to preserve what must endure." A new framework for an ancient institution. 2 days before the public statement, on December 10, 2025, senior royals gathered in Buckingham Palace's Crimson Drawing Room beneath Queen Victoria's portrait, a symbol of unyielding dynastic clarity. Prince William and Catherine, the Prince and Women of Wales, stood resolute. Princess Anne with Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence, Prince Edward and Sophie, Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, and the younger generation, Lady Louise Windsor and James, Earl of Wessex, all present. Notably absent, Prince Harry and Meghan, thousands of miles away in Montecito. There, Charles declared the unwritten, centuries-old codes of royal inheritance obsolete. In their place would rise a formal royal succession charter, a binding legal document that transformed tradition into transparent, enforceable responsibility. Princess Anne, whose life embodies duty, spoke plainly. "It is time. We have waited long enough." Lady Louise, recently entrusted with formal custodial roles, was overheard quietly telling staff, "This isn't punishment, it is accountability." The king shattered the illusion that royal inheritance equals personal wealth or privilege. He made clear to inherit the crown's legacy is not to possess it, but to serve it, a burden of stewardship, not a portfolio for personal gain. The monarchy's vast assets, valued at approximately £18.3 billion, encompassing the Crown Estate, Duchy of Lancaster, private estates like Sandringham and Balmoral, and the priceless royal collection, would now be tiered and restricted to those in active, good-standing service. Prince Harry and his children were permanently excluded from these tiers, titles, patronages, and cultural custodianships. Royalty, Charles declared, is not a brand, it is a lifelong obligation. The stewards of continuity, William and Catherine. As the announcement's echoes faded, attention turned to the Prince and women of Wales, now not just heirs but active guardians of a monarchy fighting for relevance. In the days that followed, William assumed direct oversight of Duchy of Cornwall educational grants. Catherine met privately with curators of the Royal Ceremonial Dress Collection, now under her formal patronage. Their quiet consistency spoke volumes. When others departed amid public storms, they remained. When Hollywood beckoned, they chose service. A senior aide to the Telegraph said, "William and Catherine stayed. They served. That is what the crown now rewards. Not blood alone, but devotion." Their partnership, tested by relentless scrutiny and Catherine's own health challenges in 2025, revealed as a suspected cancer diagnosis, emerged stronger. William missed no public duty except to accompany her wife to private treatments, a private demonstration of loyalty that resonated deeply. The charter reflects this shift. It elevates William and Catherine to co-custodians of major national institutions, Royal Parks Commission, Historic Palaces Preservation Fund, responsibilities once held directly by Queen Elizabeth II. Succession is no longer passive inheritance, it is active, accountable guardianship, preserving history without allowing it to become corrupted by modern pressures. Catherine, often called the archivist in pearls, has quietly led archive digitization, curated royal exhibitions, and shaped Commonwealth education on royal ethics. When asked about the strain at a recent charity event, she replied with calm dignity, "Pressure reminds us it is not ours to own, it is ours to protect." The quiet pillars, Anne, Edward, and the next generation. The monarchy's operational strength has always rested on understated duty, embodied by Princess Anne and Prince Edward. The charter now formally entrusts them as guardians of the Windsor legacy, along with their children. At 75, Princess Anne, holder of over 20,000 engagements, remains the hardest-working royal. She now holds prominent oversight of the Royal Military Archives and a senior advisory role in the Remembrance Commission. Her pragmatic counsel reportedly helped crystallize the final decision. Waiting for reconciliation was no longer viable. Exclusion, when necessary, is not cruelty, she is said to have told her brother. It is preservation. Prince Edward, 61, chairs the unglamorous but vital Royal Legacy Infrastructure Board, overseeing palace maintenance and restoration. The machinery of monarchy, aides note, depends on his steady hand. The charter extends this ethos to the younger generation, Lady Louise Windsor, 22, as custodian of the Royal Art Archive, James, Earl of Wessex, 17, beginning a Royal Heritage Fellowship. Even Princess Anne's grandchildren, Peter Phillips and Zara Thinlin, contribute through Commonwealth and equestrian heritage roles. This layered structure ensures every beneficiary actively sustains the legacy they inherit. Silence in Montecito. At the evening of December 12th, as Buckingham Palace glowed with Christmas lights, the Montecito estate lay dark and still. No statement, no podcast, no post from Prince Harry or Meghan. Behind the calm, insiders describe fury and grief. A close friend of Harry's said he never believed it would come to this, but it has, and it is irrevocable. Meghan reportedly views the exclusion as punitive erasure, a blow to her children's future. Harry is grieving not only family ties, but the loss of nation and heritage. Legal challenges are rumored, though experts agree sovereign immunity makes them unlikely to succeed. Public opinion moved swiftly. A YouGov poll the next day showed